Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for the webinar on the Advisor Dashboard. My name is Sebastian Brennan. I'm one of the consultants here at Class. I'm going to take you through a quick demonstration of the Advisor Dashboard, which we are planning to release at the end of this week. So for those of you who already have an advisor login for Class, the role of advisor, you'll be able to see the Advisor Dashboard when you jump into Class on Monday. Those of you who haven't yet got that advisor contact in Class, you'll be able to create yourself that contact, and when you jump in on Monday, you'll be able to see the Advisor Dashboard. So for those of you that are already advisors and have that functionality in Class, you would know that this is the view that you would currently see when you jump into Class. So you have view of client view of all the portfolios, but at the moment it's just a list of those portfolios. And so what we're intending to do with this Advisor Dashboard is complement client view. So client view will still remain available to you, but this Advisor Dashboard is going to sit on top of client view to give you additional information about all the portfolios that you manage. Now, the reason that we've created the Advisor Dashboard is to give you an overview of all the SMSFs and non-SMSFs that you are managing, as well as those investments held in those portfolios, and information about member data, so things like contributions and pension payments. Now, for those of you that are Class administrators, you would know that a lot of this information you already have access to in business level consoles, such as the members console and the fund list console. So this information is really giving advisors additional information they previously didn't have. So I'm going to go through the various widgets that we've created here on the Advisor Dashboard. The first one that you can see here is the entities that we are the advisor for. For your trust and your SMSF entities, we've got information about the contacts, and we've got the total value of the portfolio as at today, so the day that we log in. The next widget that we've got down here is the investments. Now, these are all of the investments that are held in the portfolio, so super and non-super entities, that we are the advisor for. So there's a couple of views here. You can see this currently is showing us a pie chart of the asset allocation, if you like. We can also drill down to a table view, which gives us further information about the investment allocation for different types of investments. Now, all of these widgets that we see here, if we click on a particular line, this will take us to another tab, one of the tabs that you see up at the top, and you'll be able to identify information about that. So this particular screen is going to give you a lot more information about important things that advisors are going to need to know. So back in the home screen, we've got the investments, top investments widget here, which is showing us our top 20 investments across, again, all our entities. We also have the ability to show our top listed securities. So these are our Australian securities that are held across the portfolios. We've got one for our top foreign and also the top managed fund. So we'll have a further look a bit later on in the Insight screen. But for those of you who are familiar with the Class quarterly reports, you'd know that this is information that is available currently in our benchmark reports, and you will be able to compare that to the business-wide across all of the, industry-wide statistics across Class with what's happening in your particular firm. Now, we did consult with a number of advisors as we went through the process of developing this advisor dashboard. And some of the things that we've got here in the insights are specifically requests that we had whilst we were building this particular dashboard. So we can see initially the total value of all of our portfolios. Now, this is both SMSF and non-SMSFs. That we have across class. We've also got information about other important information, such as those funds that or the members, that may have exceeded their contribution caps. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a link to all of these widgets, and this will take us straight to the 5 members that may have gone over our cap. So enable us to get important information out quickly. The other thing you can see here is the high and low cash balances. Now, obviously the high cash and the low cash, at the moment, it's just the default cash account. So for those of you that have selected a default cash account at a fund, where the administrator selected a default cash account, that is what you're going to be seeing as the balance here. And we know that each advisor might have a different idea about what number that should be. And depending on what you're trying to do, it may be that you want to make sure that there's sufficient liquidity in SMSF so that members are going to be able to meet their pension payments. Or on the flip side, when it comes to your high cash, you might be worried about some portfolios where there's too much cash sitting around not earning interest. So you're able in the settings, so if you click on the little symbol at the top right-hand corner, go to settings, you have the ability to define what you think should be low and high cash. And you'll notice here that we've got both a dollar amount and a percentage. So if you notice here at the moment, we can see that we've got 4 funds with high cash balance. If I change that, sorry, not just funds, portfolios. If I change that to, say, 100,000 and save, then that will update our insights dashboard. So as it comes through now, we can see that we've got 8 that are meeting that particular requirement. So again, if we can drill down into here, this will take us to the portfolio tab, which is the second tab across the top here. Now, this is specifically showing us those portfolios, so SMSF and non-SMSFs, that have a cash balance that is meeting our definition of high. Now, you'll notice here this quick filter is not just showing us the high and low cash. We also have important information here about things like your latest trust deeds, whether they have a trust deed. Also information about whether there is a corporate or individual trustees. So if we revert this back to removing the filter, we can see that each of these particular columns give us information about what we are holding, information about the entities, information about whether there is GST registration or not, and also information about the value. Now we can click into a particular portfolio here, and that will give us more information about that specific portfolio. So here what we're seeing are all of the investments that are held in WealthMax Superannuation Fund. Now, we do have this cool functionality as well of being able to group by type of investments, which gives us a summarised view of all those investments. And we can also export this information to Excel if we feel the need to further analyse or do something with this data. And you'll notice as we go through the different screens that this particular export functionality is available on all the screens. Now we can actually quickly navigate between our portfolios here. So if I want to select, say, a specific investment that I was interested in looking at, I could then filter through different portfolios to identify that information quickly. We've also got a details tab, which has information about that entity. So in this case, It gives us basic information, whether it's a SMSF or non-SMSF, about trustees, ABN. If you find, like in this case, information is missing, like the ABN, it means that it needs to be updated by the administrator, the class administrator for that particular fund. So as an advisor, you may not have access to that, so you may need to have a good discussion with the administrator about updating that information if it is not showing for some reason. We've also got another screen here giving us information about our members, which we're able to quickly identify important characteristics for these members. So coming back to our homepage, the next one I want to show you are our investments tab. So we can actually click this icon here, which for those of you who are administrators, you would know that this shortcut takes you into a particular screen. So each of these tables that we see in the advisor dashboard is highly customizable. We are able to use a range of filters. We're also able to choose to group or ungroup particular things to be able to quickly get information. So the first thing you can do is just sort by high to low in each column. And we also then narrow down our investment range by using our quick filters. So again, quick filters are filters that class has created for you, things that we think as an advisor you will find important. So if we look at a couple of examples, we've got here gains only. Now this refers to information about whether there's a gain on a sale of an investment or an unrealised investment, sorry. So we're able to quickly identify whether we want to sell or not sell a particular investment. Now we can go further than this. If we think that these quick filters are not quite giving us the specific granular information that we need, we can go ahead and create our own filters. So you might, for example, look here at wanting to find certain types of investments, say a listed security, your foreign and your managed fund, and have a look at whether we are overexposed to any of those securities. So if we look at the portfolio weight, we might look at where an investment is represent greater than 10% of the portfolio value. So if I click the filter here, I've noticed that these two are highlighted in blue. If you look at the bottom left, you can actually see what I have selected, so type and portfolio. If I like this particular filter and I think it'd be useful in the future, what I can do is save this filter. So you can see here, if I hover over the yellow star, I can give it a name, overweight, investments, rather than 10%, right? And I can save that. And that will then mean that when I come back into this particular screen next time, I'll be able to see my filter that I created last time. Now, each of these filters, and in fact any settings that you are entering in this advisor dashboard, is specific to you as the advisor. So if you've got multiple advisors in a business, whatever you set when you are logging on to your advisor dashboard is what you will see next time. Also, you'd need to reset your filters if you want to go back to having a clear slate to be able to then bring up a new filter. So highly customizable, a lot of information here, an ability to search by investments as well as by portfolios if we wish. So if we want to know, one of the requests that we have had in the past is how do we know, which particular portfolio holds an investment? This gives you easy access to that information quite quickly. So the next screen I'm going to go through is the members one. So again, if you are an administrator on class, this screen would look vaguely familiar. It's similar to the members dashboard that we have in class. So here we're providing information about a member's age, date of birth, and we're looking at things like your contributions and pension. So at this stage, very high level, the idea is to give you a quick snapshot of what you need to, areas you need to address. And again, you've got these filters. So the quick filter is available for you. The customized filter is also available for you. So you can drill down and create your own filters as you see fit. The next two tabs, contributions and pensions, are giving you greater detail. So if you go to the contributions page, tab, you'll see information here about concessional and your non-concessional contributions, and you're able to quickly identify potential issues. So here we can see the red, 104% of concessional cap has been used for this particular member. So in this case, we might actually want to know a bit more. So we might want to know which particular transactions were allocated to that member. And we can do that by drilling down into this transaction, and it will take us to Client View. Now in Client View, it's going to show you additional information again. Information, if we scroll down, we'd actually be able to identify the specific transactions which may have been allocated to a member. So if potentially you think there might be an error that it should have been allocated to another member, you'd be able to quickly identify this through this functionality. And a lot of the screens that we have in the advisor dashboards actually do link to Client View here to give you additional details. So you certainly don't lose that visibility that you had previously. The pensions tab, again, it's giving you specific information about your pensions. Some important information that you might find useful here are the ability to filter the number of pension accounts, looking at the minimums and maximum. Obviously here, these are based on your current numbers in class. So it does require you to be, if you are not already, moving towards periodic processing of those funds. If you're not the administrator, then making sure the administrator is moving towards that so that this information is going to show you the most up-to-date information to provide advice for your clients. So if we again click on a particular portfolio here we can see the investment about the actual, details about the actual pension account. So we can see important information about the taxable, tax-free percentages, when the pension was started, and if there are multiple accounts. Again, we can quickly navigate across to different portfolios or different members, and it's going to show us the different information for those ones. So if you click on the button below, again, that's going to take you to Client View and show you additional information in the Pensions tab. So here, we want to know which ones, which payments specifically have been allocated or pensions have been paid. We can see this here. So back in Advisor Dashboard, we're going to go look at the Insights page here. So I mentioned earlier the class quarterly benchmark report, which I think we have another one coming out very soon as well. Again, you're going to look at this and you're going to find that there is a great deal of comparability between the industry in a sense because of Class's market share with around 30% of the market. You're able to see the your investments across portfolios that you are managing and compare that to the industry as a whole. And that's for your top investments, managed funds, foreign, and your listed, so your Australian domestic. You've also got insights about values for your SMSFs, your non-SMSFs, and you've got the average value here as well. And further below, you've got a summary with these two bar charts showing you the number of portfolios and the value of portfolios. So just as a side note, when we refer to portfolios in the screen, we do include SMSFs that are on Class as an SMSF. You do not need to load an SMSF on Class as a portfolio to be able to use Advisor Dashboard. Another thing that's worthwhile mentioning is that if you are an advisor for multiple class businesses, you will be able to actually see all of your clients in the one place if you're using the same email address. So that's something that's important to note. The final tab that we've got is the News tab. So this takes you to an external source, which at the moment is a website called Cufflinks. So if you click on any of these news articles, that will take you to that particular page. So that's about it in terms of the functionality for the Advisor Dashboard. Now, if you get in on Monday and you're ready to go, ready to set up your Advisor Dashboard and have access, the first thing that you may want to do is to bring up the getting started. In fact, it will pop up the first time when you jump in. But the getting started tutorial will take you through how you are navigating through the different pages, some of the different filtering and customization that you can do for the different tabs, and take you through how to do that. So much the same as what we've gone through today in our demonstration. So that's about it from me. If there are any questions, any feedback, anything that you'd like to tell us, please feel free to use the chat box. We'll keep it open for the next few minutes. Otherwise, have a look for the release notes come Friday night, and I hope you enjoy and find this functionality very useful. Thank you.